Hey up, it's Steve from the Old Yorkshire Geek, and I'm reviewing the first two episodes of Disney Plus's Star Wars Ahsoka series, as you can see. And off the bat, I really enjoyed these first two episodes. I suspect there's people on the YouTubers that I follow that are just going to say it's rubbish, but I didn't think it was. I really enjoyed it. So let's get on with the review, shall we? Without further ado, apologies if you can hear some background noise. I'm hoping the echo cancelling on StreamYards is going to do away with that. I did a test and it seemed okay, but next door are doing some really loud work out in their front garden over there, and it's really annoying. But I can't do anything about that, can I? Right, so let's get on with this review. Like I said, the first two episodes dropped. And I really enjoyed them. I really enjoyed them. So let's just get on with it, shall we? I'll make myself teachy tiny, and we'll start looking at it. Right, so off we go. Right, so we begin with the Lucasfilm logo. Obviously, it's all red. Why is Star Wars in red? But we get an opening crawl, as you can see there. An opening crawl. The evil galactic empire has fallen, and the new republic has risen to take its place. However, sinister agents are already at work to undermine the fragile peace. I know it's a crawl, but it's just going straight up. It's not going off into the distance, and it's red for some reason. And they go, plot is underway to find Grand Admiral Thrawn, blah, blah, blah. And then Ahsoka Tano has captured one of Thrawn's allies, which we know is Morgan Elsbeth. And now she's been transported for trial. And we know that things like that don't go well, do they? Transporting former Imperial prisoners doesn't go well in the Filoni-verse or the Mando-verse. This is technically in the Mando-verse. It's set after, but it's set sometime after season 1 because Morgan Elsbeth's in it, and season 2, sorry, and she was captured in season 2, wasn't she? So it's set sometime after season 2 of The Mandalorian. Right, so we begin with a spaceship. Yay, lots of spaceships in this, which I'm really happy to see. Star Wars has been bereft of stars and wars recently, hasn't it? Pretty much, but we get a nice spaceship. And here we meet the captain of this ship. Don't ask me the names, I can't remember. But he's played by Mark Rolston. There he is, who you may know as Drake from Aliens. But there he is. And you wouldn't know from his voice. You know, he sounds very frightfully posh and all that. He's very captainy. But anyway, they're supposed to be rendezvousing with Home One, which must be like the Republic flagship or something. It was the ship in Return of the Jedi, wasn't it? That the Battle of the Death Star and that, the one with Admiral Akbar on. That was Home One, wasn't it? Sure it was. Anyway, the meeting, the rendezvousing supposedly with Home One to transfer Morgan Elsbeth, who's on their ship. But apparently this is one of the new ships of the Republic fleet. Apparently it's brand new, so it's super duper. But a ship drops out of hyperspace, and it's not Home One. It's like obviously an Imperial shuttle. There's a nice protocol droid. But they're all very curious. It's damn peculiar. So anyway, he allows them. By the way, they identify themselves as Jedi. They want to see the prisoner, and so the captain says that's damn peculiar. So he says, allow them to dock. They say land, but they really dock, don't they? But whatever. Allows them to. So he wants to go and see them himself. So have security. Says have security meet me in the landing bay, and he hands over the bridge to his. I presume that's the first officer. So in comes the shuttle, and here comes his security detail, which includes a Mon Calamari with his lovely white boots, and Astro droid there. And I thought they were gonk droids there, but they're not, are they? But they could be at a pinch. Anyway, so they're here to meet him. There we go. The shuttle. It's not. I know it's not an Imperial shuttle, but it's got that vibe, hasn't it? Anyway, so they arrive and all the steam and all that. And here they come. This is the late Ray Stevenson. It's Ray Stevenson as Balin Skull on the on the right there, as we see him, and Ivana Sakno as Shin Hati, who I've quite taken to. I think there's something cool about her. Maybe I'm a simp for her. Right, so they've arrived, and he says he doesn't believe them. So he's not going to let them in to see the prisoner, and he starts turning away. And Balin says that's a mistake. And then the shooting starts. She pulls out a lightsaber. Balin uses the Force and grabs the captain, and it sounds like it breaks his arm. You don't really see it. We just hear the noise with breaking his arm to make him drop his gun. So they're making their way through the ship. The ship's on red alert. They're heading. One of them's heading for the bridge. We saw this in the trailer, didn't we? Cool. And Balin's heading for the detention level. There he goes. He's fighting his way through the security. But he gets to the cell, uses the Force to open it up, and there she is, Morgan Elsbeth. Who you remember fought Ahsoka Tano in season 2 of The Mandalorian, and she was the one with the Beskar fighting pike thing, wasn't she, like a spear or whatever it was, which ended up in the hands of Din Djarin, the Mandalorian. Right, so he's freed her, and it's obvious that she's in charge. He's kind of an underling to her, sort of. She's obviously paying him because they are the sort of like mercenaries, Force using mercenaries. So, and he says, he's been well paid and all that to free her. And the opening credits or titles: Master and Apprentice is episode 1. Right, so then we cut to these ruins here, and apparently this is something to do with the Night Sisters of Dathomir. I don't know if they're on Dathomir. Maybe they are. I don't know. But it's a structure built by the Night Sisters of Dathomir, who we saw in Clone Wars. The kind of, I don't have to explain. They don't really use the Force, but they use other things, other magical things. They call them witches and stuff. Or maybe they use like the dark side of the Force or whatever. I don't really know, to be honest. I don't understand it. Anyway, so there's statues of the Night Sisters. Right, so this is where we meet Ahsoka Tano for the first time in this episode, this series. She uses the lightsabers here to cut a hole in the stone, and she drops down. I noticed, by the way, for the first time, that she's got one lightsaber shorter than the other. So the first time I noticed that. Don't know why that is. I'm not, a sword fighting expert, so I don't know. Anyway, so she drops down into this cavern. It's like it's very Indiana Jones-ish. It is. But anyway, she's here in this this room. It's like the map room from Indiana Jones, sort of, or something from like the Fifth Element. It's very along those lines. Anyway, there's these daises, or what they call them, plinths, sticking up in the ground. There's 3 of them. So she uses the Force, and she learns that she's got to turn them, to turn like the bottom part and then the top part until they align. There you go, aligning. And things light up. So she's doing all this, and then when it's all done, they go down, and then the middle one pops up, and it's got like a again, like the Fifth Element. It looks like one of the stones of the Fifth Element, but it's black. And it all crumbles, and there's a ball inside. As we'll see, there we are. It's like something from Hellraiser or Phantasm. But she gets that. So she tries to contact her ship. She's got a droid that works for her called Huyang. Obviously trying to appease the Chinese market, I guess, with a name like that. But Huyang, who's voiced by David Tennant, but you wouldn't really know to listen to him. Anyway, she's been jammed. Yang says, hang on, I hear this crackly voice, on the other end saying, I jammed. So she obviously knows something's up. So she leaps, uses the Force, and leaps out of the hole. We find that these droids are here. I think there's 5 of them all together. And he says, give us the map. She's looking for a map, by the way. It's a bit like Force Awakens. They were looking for a map in that, weren't they? And they're looking for a map in this, and she's found it. And they want it. So She ignites the lightsabers, and we see that she's surrounded. Here we go. There's 4 of them, including the leader. So they all attack. Fights them off. She makes some of them fall down. She cuts more holes. She jumps back down the hole and makes the others. Cuts more holes, makes those fall in. Takes out the others. And then the leader says, before he's destroyed, he says, activate self-destruct. So the ones that are ready. Remember in Mando at the end of season 1, where IG-11 in it. Is it IG-11? Yeah, IG-11 self-destructs himself with this thing from his chest. Where they do a similar thing here. By the way, I think these are HK droids, assassin droids, I think. Anyway, he contacts a ship, Hu Yang, on the ship, and he says, he's on his way. And he says he'll land. He says, no, keep going. And the explosion happens. Some like Independence Day, because a huge shockwaves, or a wall of fires heading towards her. But she gets on board. He lowers the ramp. She gets on board. And there's Hu Yang looking very weird. Looks like something from Return to Oz or something like that, doesn't it, rather than Star Wars? But never mind. So they get away, and she's found the map, but she can't decipher it. So she's going to meet up with Home One, and here we find that this is Home One on the right. That's the other ship on the left. It's being shot at. There's bits of it, floating about. See, some X-wings there, cool. Anyway, she docks with Home One. Learns that Elspeth's been taken. And here we meet Hera. Hera Syndulla is there. General Syndulla. We talk about the map. She says she can't decode it. It's encrypted or whatever. She can't work it out. So Hera suggests that they use Sabine Wren. I think Hera suggests that, or maybe Ahsoka does. Anyway, somebody suggests that they use Sabine Wren because she's super good at this sort of thing, and she's on Lothal. So they're going to go there, and she also suggests that they'll not only find Thrawn, but they'll also find Ezra Bridger. Because at the end of Star Wars Rebels, Ezra Bridger and Grand Admiral Thrawn were taken by Purgles to hyperspace Wales to somewhere that we didn't know. We find out roughly where they've gone. Anyway, we see on this. This is footage from the security cameras on the Republic ship showing these two. She doesn't know who they are, but we learn who they are later because they analyze their lightsabers. But she doesn't know who they are. But it says it's disturbing that there's these Force users knocking about, doing bad things. Anyway, so they're going to go to Lothal next. There we are, talking away. But it's Mary Elizabeth Winstead as Hera, and she's fine. I've heard people complaining about saying she's wooden, but it's Star Wars, isn't it? Everything's bloody wooden. Watch the original Star Wars. Watch your mouth, kid, or you find yourself floating home. Stuff like that. It's not not a literary masterpiece, is it? The acting's not the best. I remember actually when the original Star Wars first came out. I remember the acting really, really got criticised, even by me, and I was only 10. And even I saw it then. But you get used to it, don't you? So anyway, right, we're here on Lothal, and they're having a celebration. And we meet another guest star. I presume this is like the president of Lothal or something. No, I don't know what his title is. Maybe it says it on IMDb. Let's have a look. Oh, the governor. It's Governor Ryder Azadi. Did we see him in Rebels? That name rings a bell. Anyway, they're having a celebration, the liberation of Lothal and the end of the Republic. So several years have passed. It doesn't say exactly how many since the Empire fell. But anyway, so here we meet the governor. It's played by Clancy Brown, who we know from everything from Highlander to Starship Troopers to Cowboys versus Aliens to lots of stuff he's been in. Deadly Pursuit / Shoot to Kill. Been in lots of stuff. Goodies and baddies he's portrayed. Anyway, he's playing the governor of Lothal, and they're doing a speech celebrating the fall of the empire from several years ago. They're not precise, but Commander Sabine Wren, one of the heroes, is supposed to be giving a speech, but she's not there. The this is going to be a monument. One of Sabine's paintings that obviously has been saved from the ruins after the Battle of Lothal. This is going to be a monument to that victory. But Sabine's not there, so he gets this young senator to carry on, to give the speech, to cover, and so he's doing that, and he contacts security. They've all got these little wrist communicators in this series, so order security to find Sabine Wren. So anyway, here she is on this deserted road. They're always deserted. It was pretty much that way in Star Wars Rebels as well when we saw it. Never very much traffic. Not like round here when it's chock-a-block with traffic. Anyway, she's bombing down on a speeder with the hair blowing, with the helmet on. And there's like a thing on the helmet. I'm sure it's the same as what's in The Force Awakens. You know, the helmet that Rey wears when she's in a tippled over AT-AT. Yes, it's an AT-AT, not an AT-AT. Anyway, it looks similar right to that. I'm sure it is. I know it's Orabesh, but I'm sure it's the same letters, which is supposed to spell Ray, apparently, R-A-E, but I could be wrong. Anyway, she's bombing down here, and then a couple of I don't know if I think they're like that fighters, like a mix of like X-wings and other ships, and like a snow speeder sort of combination. So I don't know if they're like speeders, like snow speeders are, or if they're like, you know, like an X-wing that could go into space and all that. I don't know, but anyway, they catch up to her. They order her to, to stand down, and she refuses. So one of them flies in front and lands on the road, blocking her way. Obviously, she just speeds up, and they're saying she's not going to do it, is she? But oh, yes, she does. Not too far. But she carries on, and she basically goes under the ship, the fight or whatever it is, and carries on away. And so obviously they can't stop her, so they just fly off. But she's gone to the communications tower where Ezra Bridger used to live, and she goes in there. We see a Lothcat. These Lothcats are pretty cool looking, to be honest, I must admit. Anyway, we're seeing all the stuff that we saw in the Star Wars Rebels series, and this is Ezra's old digs. So she's feeding this Lothcat. So it looks pretty cool, I must admit. Kind of goofy, but kind of cool as well. Anyway, so she feeds the cat. There's all the Mandalorian gear stowed away. She's rummaging about in here. The cat's watching, and she finds the hologram of Ezra. And he's talking to her, saying it's a recording he made before the end of Star Wars Rebels. He knew it probably wasn't going to come back. So it's a recording saying, you know, I've got to do what I've got to do. Sometimes Jedi. You ever been maimed by a Jedi? Sometimes Jedi have to make the big decisions that other people won't like, but they've got to do that sometimes. So there you go. She's watching that. She's remembering her friend. Then we cut back to the ruins on that Dathomir-ish planet, the Night Sisters planet that's just blown up, the ruins. And there they are. I forgot her name. Shin Hati or something her name is, isn't it? Looking at the ruins, and Morgan's there, and obviously Balin there as well. And he says she's got the map. This other one as well, I've forgotten his name, is another one. It looks like an Inquisitor. It's got like an Inquisitor lightsaber, and I forgot what they call them. Does it say? Does it say here? No, it doesn't. Unless it's in all cast and crew. Just bear with me. Just bear with me. Why did bloody say his name? Doesn't say his name, unless I'm missing it. No, he doesn't even get a credit, this fella. Doesn't even get a credit. By the way, I've just noticed Wes Chatham's going to be in this. He's not in these first two episodes. I don't think he is. Unless it's him playing that character. Because it doesn't have a thing. It just says Wes Chatham and it doesn't say who's playing. So, but I forgot his name. I think it begins with W. Whatever. Anyway, he fights Ahsoka later on. Anyway, they learn that she's got the map. And Morgan says, well, she'll go and get help from Sabine Wren. So that's where they're going. And Sabine's on Lothal. So they've got other stuff to do. So she actually says, send her to get Sabine Wren, and they're going to go somewhere else. I forgot where. We'll get that. We'll get to that. Right. So she's going to go to Lothal, get Sabine. Here we go. Meanwhile, Ahsoka arrives. She watches. Sabine's there. Meeting Ahsoka, and the governor says, where have you been?" And she says, "Oh, was it today?" and all that. And so she's, fobbing them off. Right, so anyway, Ahsoka says, "I want you to, can you have a look at this?" And so she says, "Fine." And the catch up. We learn that Sabine was Ahsoka's apprentice. So apparently Sabine is like a Force user, but it kind of makes it clear that she's not very strong in the Force. I think the draw Hu Yang. Apparently Hu Yang's over 500 years old, and he used to do things at the Jedi Temple. He used to help younglings create their lightsabers and stuff like that. And he says to her, her aptitude for the Force, leaves a lot to be desired. And so I think she's very powerful in the Force. Maybe she's more Force sensitive than a Force user, if you know what I mean. But anyway, but we learned she was Ahsoka's apprentice, but they split up, kind of on bad terms, it seems. Like Ahsoka, I felt she had to go off, probably to find Thrawn, and kind of left Sabine in the lurch, so somewhat. So there's kind of tension between them, but she's going to go and try and decode this map. But she says she can't do it here. She's got to go and do it, at Ezra's place. But Ahsoka says, no, don't do that. It's not safe, but she doesn't really tell her why it's not safe. She doesn't say, these bad people are going to come and get you. She doesn't say that, but she just goes anyway. This is obviously a hologram of where the map was found. I don't know what these red marks indicate. I don't know, but anyway, so she says don't go, but she goes anyway. She gets called away by Hu Yang. He's done an analysis of the lightsabers that were used. He can't recognize one, but he recognizes the other. It's been slightly modified, but he says he recognizes it as being used by Baylan Skoll, who was a Jedi Knight after the Clone Wars. He obviously escaped Order 66, and now he's acting as a mercenary. So anyway, when Ahsoka goes back, she sees that Sabine's buggered off. Here she is on a speeder again. But then a probe droid appears, like we saw in Phantom Menace, similar sort of thing. It's obviously being used by Shin Hati. There she is with her HK droids. Right, Ahsoka arrives back at Ezra's place, and she figures out the map. She looks at the hologram that Ahsoka's given her of the place where it was found and the chamber and all that. But anyway, before that, Ahsoka and Hera are having words about Sabine. She's not following orders, etc. And Hera says, "Well, it's Sabine. She's Mandalorian. She'll do what she wants to do." Anyway, meanwhile, Sabine's working this out, and she just figured it out. That thing in the middle there, you can't see from my fat head, but never mind. That in the middle there, I'll show it again in a minute, no doubt. That's the key. It gets rid of the outer layers. Oh, what's happening here now? It's computer. There we go. She removes aspects apart from that, and obviously that's the key. And then she notices it's got that design on this ball, so she's basically just to line it all up, get it right, and hopefully chains and blades and stuff won't come out of it, and Cenobites won't appear and say, "Well, we'll tear your soul apart," etc. So anyway, she does that, and it activates and starts floating. Don't know how, but it does. And we see not our galaxy, but their galaxy and another galaxy. So it's the first time in on-screen Star Wars that they've referenced another galaxy, and obviously a path to this other galaxy. Obviously, something's going on there, and that is apparently where Thrawn has been exiled. Presumably, that's also where Ezra Bridger is. So, is this where the Purgils took them to this other galaxy? Anyway, so she's worked that out, but she comes under attack from these hunter. I presume HK stands for hunter killers. They call them assassin droids, but I don't know. But these HK droids, she gets attacked by them. One of them goes inside and destroys, everything inside. So she's no record. She takes care of one of them. She goes inside, picks up. This is Ezra's old lightsaber. I can't really remember everything about Rebels, but I thought Ezra's lightsaber was like a gun as well. I thought he had like a handle, that went around his. You know what I mean? Like a grip that went around his fingers. Like a gun grip, and he used it to shoot off lasers, but it also had a lightsaber as well. Or did that get destroyed? I can't remember. It's a while since I've watched Rebels. But anyway, it's just a normal lightsaber. But apparently, it's for Ezra Bridger's lightsaber that she's using. So she gets that. She goes outside, and then we see Shin's there with the HK droid and the map ball. So anyway, they start fighting, and pretty much Shin is just playing with her. Really, you can see it that she's just playing with her. And you can see it in her eyes as well. That I was watching it, I was thinking she's going to say something like, the Force is not with you, or something like, you are not powerful in the Force. Give up, or or I will be forced to kill you, or whatever. But they don't say anything. They just fight. Anyway, by the way, she'd called on Huyang. She said, Huyang, I need backup. Did Sabine. So they're on the way, Ahsoka and the ship. And they're fighting away with their lightsaber. It's a pretty decent fight. They're parrying and blocking and all that. And it's not bad. I'm sure others on YouTube will criticize it to high heaven, but I thought it was fine. But Sabine's really no match for Shin. I don't think, anyway. I think Shin's kind of playing with her. Sabine's doing her best. Obviously, hang on, here we go. But Sabine's doing her best, but obviously her training was never completed, so she's not that good. But then we see what happens far too often in modern Star Wars. You ready? Here it comes. Show us. Here we go. You ready? Here it comes. There we go. She gets run through with a lightsaber. But luckily, it's a straight thrust in and out. You thought with a lightsaber, you'd think you'd go like that and then go to the side, wouldn't you? Really finish him off, but she doesn't. It's a straight thrust in and out. I mean, people are saying on YouTube, I saw it on YouTube, somebody was saying, it happens again, just like in Obi-Wan. She gets run through. She must have two stomachs like Reva has. And was it Reva that's got one of them anyway? Has got two stomachs. And that's why they didn't die. But if you see, she isn't actually run through in the middle. It's like kind of at the side. So it runs through her side. But so now you can see there, you see that here, there, the hole, the exit wound there. It's to the side, so not through any major organs. But I'm sure it hurts. But anyway, so they get away. Oh, and that's the end of that episode. I forgot that, by the way. That's the end of episode 1. And it was fine. I didn't mind it. I think episode 2 is better, to be honest. I'm getting to that. But episode 1 was fine. Didn't mind it at all. And this end credit scene, is quite nice as well, showing the path to the other galaxy and all that. Kind of cool. Obviously, we see. I think we see a wolf. Oh, they're Purgils there. Look, that we see. Obviously, the hyperspace whales. Obviously, we see a wolf. Is it a loft wolf or whatever they call? I don't know what they call them. The wolves that use the Force, don't they? Can travel to other places using the Force or something. I don't know. Dave Filoni is obsessed with wolves. Right, so we'll get episode 2 up. We'll get that, and we will continue our adventure. As I said, I really liked episode 1, but I think episode 2 is even better, to be completely honest. I do. Right, so off we go. So we get a recap. So we don't need to watch that, do we? We've seen all this. Right, so we begin. Lucasfilm. I was. Right. We're on Lothal. Tabine's not dead. Don't worry. As I said, too often people are surviving lightsaber attacks. But never mind, she's okay. As we saw, it didn't go through a middle, no major organs were affected. So I'm sure they've stuck Bacter on her and, she'll be fine. There she is, she's in hospital, resting with a, was it a 2-1B, something like that droid, medical droid, dealing with her. And there's Hu Yang. But I like the look of this Lothal. I think it looks cool. It's very, it reminds me of Cloud City. It's got that sort of a design, hasn't it? That aesthetic. Anyway, so Ahsoka learns that they took the map. So, and Ahsoka asks, "Did you have a recording of it?" He said, "No, they destroyed everything." So she says, "I've failed and all that." And Ahsoka tells her to rest, and he says, I need to help you." And she says, "No, you've done enough." And she says it in kind of a way as though it's kind of, you've done enough trouble, you've done enough damage, sort of thing. But that's how it came across to me. But she could have just meant, you've done enough, thank you, but rest, But anyway, so she leaves her in hospital. Then we got to this other planet. There we go. This imperialist type shuttle comes in. This is obviously Balin and Morgan and Shin. They arrive at this old what we call it, like a Stonehenge type place. Stonehenge, sort of place. It's an ancient, a megalithic circle. That's the words I'm looking for. So anyway, so they arrive here, plonk the map on there, and it starts doing things. Oh, then he sends her off. Morgan's not there yet. He sends her, so tell Morgan we've got the map, and so the path to wherever, we're on, is it Ceto or something like that? We're on Ceto, blah blah blah. So anyway, right. So by the way, this bit here with I've got the feeling with this character Ray Stevenson as Balin Skull. I don't know if I'm right or not. I don't know, but I've got the feeling by the end he's going to switch sides and end up being a good guy. I could be wrong. I probably am. But I've just got that feeling. Every time I see him, I'm thinking he's not bad. He's doing bad things now, but he's going to move my mouse pointer. He's going to end up doing the right thing by the end, I think, and may even get killed by his own apprentice or even Morgan Elsbeth or Thrawn. I don't know, but I think, or he'll sacrifice himself to save the others. I think he'll turn good by the end. Right, opening titles. Right, we're on Lothal. We see Lothcats in the grassy plains. This is Ahsoka coming to the communications tower with her Japanese-style shoes on. And she's using the Force to as like what they call it now. I can't remember what they call it now. Like psychics hold an object and get impressions of the past through it. I can't remember the phrase. It'll come to me. But she's using that, and then so we're hearing what happened before, and the battle and stuff that happened there. So she goes up the tower. We see this other Lothcat. They're weird bloody things, aren't they? Weird feet. They've got like duck feet, much like me. Is what my mate keeps saying. I've got duck feet. Anyway, it's looking in there. Is the cat? Why is it outside looking in? We find out soon. It doesn't want to go in. So she's looking around. Is at the damage left by the droids. She finds the hologram of Ezra, as you see there. Then the Lothcat starts going, hissing and spitting. There you go. And then HK droid drops down. Ahsoka makes short work of it, chops his head off. Then we head back to, I presume it's called Lothal City or something. I don't actually know, but back to the city with the head. So Sabine's trying to get it to work, and she says, she explains that if you get the power right, if you plug into it and get the power, balanced right, You can access its memory files. You'd think you'd be able to access its memory files anyway, but I don't know. It's not like our technology, I suppose. He says if you get it right, you can access the memory and find out where it's been or who sent it, etc. And they say, well, what if you don't balance it right? He said the head will explode. Maybe it's a security measure. I don't know. So, then we see Hera's there in hologram form. So she plugs in and starts fiddling about, and we see that it's getting hotter and hotter. Is the head? She's working away. Hu Yang's getting concerned and saying it's getting hotter. Got to unplug, and then Sabine saying, "No, don't. It's fine. I've got this." It's getting hotter and hotter, and hang on, I've gone too far. But eventually, he unplugs it just as she gets the information, and she says it was sent from Corellia. That's all she could get from it. So it was sent from Corellia, and apparently Morgan Elsbeth had. She used to build stuff for the Empire on Corellia, apparently. So that's the connection they've got. So Ahsoka says, right, okay, I'm off to Corellia. And Hera says, I'll meet you there. And she tells Sabine, you've got to rest. So Sabine says, no. So they have a little back and forth now. Ahsoka's gone. Hera and Sabine, who are old friends, remember, from Star Wars Rebels. By the way, it helps if you've watched Star Wars Rebels, but you don't really have to, but it helps. You're told all you need to know. But anyway, so Sabine's giving it the old. She's like the Anakin to Obi-Wan. She's saying, Hera doesn't appreciate me and all that, and she's not quite as horrible as Anakin, but. Well, she's a woman, obviously, because it's Star hers, isn't it? But never mind. I still enjoy it. So she's moaning about that Ahsoka doesn't want her help, and Hera says actually she does. She does, but she wants to know from Sabine that Sabine's ready, etc. So off they go. All right, here we are back on this other planet. Oh, Ceto, isn't it? The planet Ceto they're on now. Morgan's arrived. She can activate the map because apparently she's a sister, a night sister of Dathomir or something, or she's connected to him in some way. She can use witch powers. By the way, this episode's called Toil and Trouble. It's obviously from, is it Macbeth? Hubble Bubble, Toil and Trouble. It's from that, isn't it? The witches chant. So she gets this working. She uses her magic. It activates, and there we go. She says, "This is our galaxy," and then it shows the other galaxy in a minute. There we go. The path between, and we learned that this structure that they're in is actually built, eons ago by an ancient race from another galaxy. They don't tell us what they were called, but anyway, so there we go. So that's the path to this other galaxy. This is where the people that built this, and as you can see, it just fits nicely into that little curve there. But anyway, Balin says he calls it the path to wherever. I can't remember what they called it. It begins with P, and he says it was like a fairy tale that the younglings were told. The Jedi Temple, and Morgan says, well, it was the truth. So that's where Thrawn is exiled, and that's where they're going to get him from. So, as I said, I think he's going to turn good. We can see it in his face. He's unsure. Right, so they're off to Corellia. This is Corellia. Remember where Han Solo's from, where he got his name. So the Republic yards used to be the Imperial shipyards. Now the Republic yards. There we go, where they're decommissioning Star Destroyers and repurposing all the Imperial technology into Republic technology. So here she goes. She arrives with, meets up with Hera. And this is Min Weaver, the supervisor here, and he tells them that all Imperial equipment is being repurposed into stuff for the Republic. Morgan Elsbeth's obviously not there anymore, and but they want a tour of her former facilities, and he says I'm far too busy. And Hera pulls rank and says, well, I'm a general, I can make this official. He says, okay, then this way. So off they go to a quick tour of the facilities, and we've seen people working away, dismantling the Imperial stuff. And he's asked if are all people that worked for Morgan and the Empire basically before, are they still working here? He says, well, yeah, of course they are. Because we wouldn't be able to do all this otherwise. We'd be understaffed. He says, well, don't you trust their loyalty? He says, well, it's got nothing to do with that. As long as they're being paid, they don't care about the politics. That's what he says. But obviously, that's not true, as we learn later on. So here we go. They're going through, and apparently they're taking the star drives out, the hyperspace drives out of these ships, and putting them in the new Republic ships. Anyway, so off they go. Here we see that Sabine's healed up. There we go. I presume that's like a Bacta pad. That'll be Bacta in there, won't it? So she's all healed up, and there you go. There's the old battered old droid, that, isn't it? So she's all healed up, and Huyang notices, because remember he used to help younglings build lightsabers, and he says, "Oh, I see you've got Ezra Bridger's old lightsaber with modifications." Maybe she changed it so it didn't look like a gun. I don't know, but so he gives her a little pep talk. This is where he tells her that she's not very strong in the Force and all that. But she should still do what's right. So that's when she decides she's going to go off and help Hera. So that's what she does. Right. Meanwhile, back on Corellia, have you noticed these windows look very much like Star Destroyer windows, don't they? Very Imperial. They're red droid. But anyway, this is where they're being told that this Imperial stuff's been requisitioned. We see down there that's an Imperial hyperdrive thing from a super Star Destroyer, and it's been lifted up by this shuttle here. But Hera says, she wants to, know what it's being used for. What's that Star hyperdrive being used for? And he says she doesn't have clearance. She says, yes, I'm a general. I have all the clearance. He calls over the protocol droid, to do the thing on the pad, and then she says, Ahsoka asks, "Do you make HK or do HK droids work here? Maybe they've been, reprogrammed, so they're not assassins anymore." He says, "Well, no, obviously not." But then this droid here, this protocol droid, says, "I saw one 5 rotations ago. It stopped me from doing my work, and I couldn't do anything about it. This fella looks shifty." And the droid says, "It's leaving now on that shuttle there." We see the shuttle picking up the hyperdrive and heading out. It all kicks off in here. Hang on, I've gone too far. It all kicks off in here. These people say, "For the Empire!" Here we go. They all start shooting and lightsabers and all that stuff. Shooty shoots. Look, they're all kicking off. They're all still loyal to the Empire. It seems, and even got his name already. Even the supervisor, but he's hiding behind the protocol droid. They've dealt with them, but they've got to go and catch that shuttle now. So Hera heads for the Phantom, which is like the small version of a main ship, the Ghost. He heads for that, and Hera goes chasing after the shuttle. I don't know what she's thinking of doing, but remember the time we've seen it before. Well, we've seen it in. We saw it in Rise of Palpatine, didn't we? We also saw it in what's the name of the game? Force Unleashed. Jedi can pull down ships, can't they, with the Force? But she doesn't try doing that for some reason. She just watches it take off. So Hera's chasing after it in the Phantom. But here's this fella. I've forgotten his name. I do apologise. This could be Wes Chatham for all I know, but I don't know. He's there. I'm saying he. With his Inquisitor style lightsaber, along with the HK. So they start fighting. There we go. Hera's chasing after the other shuttle, and it starts shooting at them. So Hera says to Chopper, "Get a tracker out," and there's a back and forth here that's a bit goofy, but never mind. There they are, chasing after, shooting back at it. Pew, 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 pew. There's cool battle here that's going on in the sky and down here on the ground. And it's a good fight scene. People have complained about this as well, saying, it's slow and stuff like that. But it looks fine to me. It looks fine to me. See that HK gets in the way and gets dismembered. So Chopper's looking for this tracker. It's kind of a goofy scene where he's rummaging about in his things, and there's a back and forth with him and Hera. He's asking, you can't understand what he's saying, but she understands him. He says, have you been messing with my stuff? He says, no, I haven't. And says, have you looked under the battery cover or something? And you find the tracker under there. So they get up by the shuttle. Yes. Meanwhile, he throws his lightsaber at her, and it starts spinning. Look, she easily avoids it. It's a distraction because their spaceship's coming in. He jumps on there. The other shuttle comes in and starts shooting. Again, a distraction, so he can get away. And his lightsaber comes. It uses the force to make his lightsaber come whirling back. I thought it was going to be like a boomerang and just come back, but I missed it. Never mind. He's got his lightsaber back, and they've escaped. Meanwhile, they're still about to chuck the tracker onto the other shuttle, which they do. And the other shuttle goes into hyperspace, so they can track where it's going. Right, what next? Right, so Sabine's back at the communications tower on Lothal. She's getting her gear. Look, she's getting it all ready. Her Mandalorian armor. So she's going to go all Mando again. And she cuts her hair off for some reason. Maybe so it'll fit under the helmet. I don't know, probably. And I thought this was going to be a vibro blade, but it isn't. I think it's just a regular blade. But there you go. She cuts off her lovely long hair. I'm a long hair person, I like long hair. Never mind. So back on Corellia, all the former Imperials are all being arrested. You can tell the baddies because they're in red. They're all being arrested. So we assume that he is one of them, that he was in on it because he's handcuffed. So he's being led away. So there's big some security thing now that they're going to having to go around and talk to everybody. And this she gets a communication from Sabine, and Sabine says, "I'm ready." So ready to carry on her training. I presume that means. You can see she's got her lightsaber there. As Hera's talking to these two, Ahsoka takes off. There we go. And Sabine goes and looks one last time at the. I'm going to see. There we go. At the painting that she did of the Rebels crew, and there you go. And she meets up with Ahsoka, and so she says, nice haircut. She says, it's the real me. I thought I preferred it before, to be honest. I preferred the long hair, but never mind. So they're going to go off and do their stuff. He says something. I forgot what he tells them. He tells them something. I can't remember. They know where to go. It's being tracked. That's it. He learns that it's gone to the Ceto system. That's it. It's called the planet Ceto in the whatever system. So they're heading there. Meanwhile, Bale and Skoll and Morgan and Shin and all that, they're here on this must be the planet Ceto, and there's this big. See if you can see it again. There we go. This is like a big. Remember those like hyperdrive rings that they used in the prequel trilogy, where a rebel starfighter would link with it and then go off into hyperspace and then undock from it, leave it in orbit and go down to a planet. It's like one of those, but massive. So I'm guessing a huge ship or something is going to dock with this, and it's going to go off, into hyperspace to this other galaxy. I'm guessing that's what's going to happen because they're delivering this Super Star Destroyer hyperdrive to this big ring. And there we go. There's Morgan watching on. Oh, and they're holograms. And she's asking Balin, what can he feel? And he says, she's coming. Her connection to the Force is, not strong or whatever, something along those lines. But she's coming. She's determined and she's coming. And You think, is he talking about Ahsoka, or is he talking about Sabine? I presume he's talking about Sabine, to be honest, but she's coming, so that to be ready for her. And she's saying, well, soon we'll be ready. We'll be able to go and get Grand Admiral Thrawn from his exile. And so I think he's going to be a goodie. And then it ends, I think, yes. And that's the end of episode 2. And I really enjoyed episode 2. I thought it was better than the first one, to be honest. So hopefully it'll keep up. Episode 3 is next week. I think it's a shorter episode as well. Episode 1 was like 50 odd minutes. And there's about 5 minutes of credits. The first episode was 50 odd minutes. The second episode was 44 minutes. But I think minus credits, it's like 39 minutes or whatever. And I think next episode 3 is even shorter. I think that's going to be, I think that's like 30 minutes, 33 minutes or something. So without the credits, that'll be like 28 minutes or whatever, won't it? But anyway, that's it. I did enjoy those 2 episodes. We'll go full screen. There we go. I did enjoy those 2 episodes. It was, really good. I really enjoyed it, and it felt like Star Wars to me. It really felt like Star Wars. Really worth a watch. Give it a go. Don't be over, analytical about it. It's Star Wars. It's supposed to be fun, and it is fun. I enjoyed it, and I want to know what happens next. When it ended, I was like, oh, I've got to wait now till next week. So that's what you want, isn't it? That's what you want. You want to, carry on the story. Don't be thinking, oh, thank God that's finished. I don't have to watch it again. I'm sure there'll be some out there that'll be like that. But I really enjoyed it. I can't wait till next week. I'm going to give it 8 out of 10. These first 2 episodes, which is, it's a good score. It's well worth watching. And I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next. Will we see Anakin? Will we see Luke? I don't know, but I think it's 8 episodes there's going to be, so there's another 6 to go. So it's fun. It's fun. Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka is adequate. People have been saying the Sabine Wren actress, Natasha Liu Baditso, is the standout, but I didn't think she was anything special, to be honest. But she was fine, She was fine. David Tennant's cool as the droid. Who, for some reason, I was thinking he's going to turn bad. It just looks like a baddie, but if he worked in the Jedi Temple for over 500 years, I can't see him being a baddie. But anyway. But my personal favourite is Ray Stevenson. I think he's really good. He's a baddie, but for some reason I felt sympathy towards him. Not sympathy, but you know what I mean. I was drawn to him, and I think he's going to turn good by the end. I could be wrong, but you never know. So and the rest of the cast were fine. They were fine. We had some nice little cameos. We had Mark Rolston and Clancy Brown, which were nice to see. There might be some others in there that I've missed. But anyway, I'm sure Jane Seymour's in there somewhere. That's a private joke. Anyway, so we'll leave it there. So, as I said, 8 out of 10. Really enjoyed it. Well worth a watch. So, until next week, look after each other, and I'll see you.